Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Today we are actually nowhere near Red Tool House. Today we are in Fredericktown, Ohio. And this is my friend JB Brown. Say hi, JB.
Hello there, greetings from the Fredericktown Homestead.
All right, so JB is in the heart of Amish Country in Ohio, correct?
This is the 5th largest cohesive Amish community in the world.
Yeah.
Cohesive meaning they all follow the same set of rules.
Yeah, excellent. So, and I can vouch for that because just in the time we were standing here getting the equipment set up, we had 2 buggies go by. And to respect the Amish community, of course, you don't take pictures, you don't do video of them. So we're going to leave those parts out. But it is really neat to be here in the heart of the community and see those individuals go by and just kind of feel like you've stepped back in time there. So it's very cool. But what we want to talk about today with JB is JB has a really unique situation here. And I want to feature this simply because those of you that are looking for land for your homestead and you think the biggest hurdle is that expense of acquiring land, I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars or even $50,000 to go out and buy land. JB is going to show you an example here, and he's been very gracious in what he's doing, where he's sharing the lease on this land. So literally this family's coming in for just a couple $100s a month and having access to acres and acres of beautiful farmland here in central Ohio.
The rent's $500 and I pay my half, they pay the other half.
So for $250, you've got a family that's going to come have access to this area to build a homestead, to learn from you and your vast years of knowledge in doing this type of stuff.
When you say build a homestead, most of the infrastructure is already here.
Yeah, exactly.
We got barn, we got house, we got shop, we got piggery, we got the land. You say build a homestead, but the infrastructure, most of it's here.
Let's say occupy a homestead then.
There's a lot of work to be done, but a lot has already been done. This is an old farm where back before the word homesteading was used, they did what we used to call farming, which is now called homesteading.
Right.
Same thing. But back in our day, see, homesteading meant that you got the land at the end. That's not true with this. You don't get the land. This is never going to belong to you. But yeah, come here and learn by doing. Pigs, sheep, waterfowl, meat birds, birds ready to lay. Have your own ideas. Rabbits. Yeah. Might draw the line at camels, but
That's right. Yeah. Who wants to mess with that? Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask JB to give us a little tour here, and we'll detail some other things as we get into it, as we walk around this land here, and I want you all to check this out. And for you flatlanders, this is going to look nice to you. For me, mountain boy, I'm a little nervous, all this exposed sky that I see here, so I may be tucked away behind a tree from time to time. So let's go take a tour.
If you watch Arm's Family Homestead, he's always talking about having a side show or side hustle or something he calls it. My side hustle, one of them, is I can get any amount of wood from the mills. I drive the Amish for a living, and that gives me cash, but sometimes I get too much cash, so they pay me in wood, and I get the trimmings, the stuff they sell for firewood, and then I work it up into, these are all stuff that I've made in the last couple of weeks. And I put it out here on the fence because when the Amish go by, they see it. And this Saturday we have a big community get together, and I'll be there. And I'm sure that most of this stuff will be gone just by rubbing shoulders. Do you have a box, like this and like that? And do you have a set of shelves? And can you build me this? And I've got the wood, I've got the equipment, and I love doing it, and I'm not driving, and so a side hustle. This is my side hustle.
All right, so we're here on the bustling main drag through Fredericktown here. So if we get run over, then shame on us, because we should definitely see them coming for a while. So JB, explain the lay of the land here. It's 750 acres, but a lot of that's in lease for tillage, but you all have access to quite a bit of land, right?
Yes. The land stretches from, if you see that tower, can you see that tower in your camera?
Oh, way down there, cell tower way down there, yep.
It goes from there to that silo, that farm down there. and there's a road that goes north and south there. And we own, this farm owns to that road, and then a mile that way.
Oh, wow.
And what we've got use of,
We are going to get run over if we don't get out of the road.
what we've got use of is from the road, one line, and a parallel line, 200 yards, I'm guessing. Troy can back me up on that.
Yeah.
But, there's corn tillage back here. And I just arbitrarily with the owner, I said, we won't use any more than from the tillage to the road and down to the next road. That's about 2/3 of a mile by 200 yards, which is more land than any other YouTuber I know.
It's a lot of land, especially flat, accessible land. I don't know, y'all should be able to see here in the camera, all the way back there in front of the tree line, you can see corn. So corn is where the corn line starts would be the front or the back of that line. So everything that way, all the way down to that silo, is a nice strip of land that's I'm very jealous of the flatness of it. So really cool.
There are gulches in it. There's watersheds that come off of this field. This is conventional and has all of the attributes of conventionality, Roundup and everything else. But the water runs through gulches, and they're a bit of a hindrance. I mean, you call it flatland, but it's nothing like Troy's trying to shinny up the mountainside.
Right, yeah.
But it isn't hard to get across this way because of the watersheds running against you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good
It's
deal.
something that's surmountable.
Yeah, very good. All right, so as I mentioned, JB is splitting the lease with a couple. And we actually interviewed JB about 2 months ago, and that podcast hasn't aired yet on our Pastured Pig podcast, but it gets into the back history of JB, his story. He's got a really neat story to tell, so when that comes available, I'll put a link for that so you guys can watch or listen to that. But so he put kind of this, through our podcast, he put this APB out about, hey, I've got this opportunity because the family that was here has moved on. We've got an opportunity for another family to come in if they want. Well, since then recording, he's acquired another family. They are moving in 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Yep. So what's really neat, here's the thing I love about this, and to me this personifies the homestead community mentality. So JB, he mentioned that he drives for the Amish. You can see his big rigs back here, these big vans. He just came back from Wyoming, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he drove all the way to Wyoming transporting Amish. And so the couple, the family, the small family that's coming, they wanted to put a garden in. And would you say they were green a little bit?
Scarlet green.
Scarlet green. That's a nice way of saying this is very new to them, which is awesome. So here's a guy that's been doing this for decades, is pouring in some experience to them. So while he's gone in Wyoming, they say, hey, we're going to put a garden in and we're going to put a fence up to keep the dog out and any other situation there. So they send JB a picture while you're in Wyoming, right? And you said, hey, here's maybe some suggestions you want to make. So just in having the knowledge of JB at their fingertips, they were able to come back and put this fence in.
And not only me, but they also went to YouTube and looked at YouTube as a way of educating themselves as to what they needed. And they got the ground post right. They've got, everything is insulated. It maybe not the way I would have done it, but they got it a working fence, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and just for you guys keeping score, I'm not touching this fence, but that's a 6-joule Energizer on, there's not even 100 feet of line there, so that's going to cook something. So yeah, that'll keep everybody out. That'll keep elephants out, I believe. So they definitely have the Energizer to spare when it comes to expansion. So JB, what do we have here? So this again was a working farm. You can see the old farmhouse over here, the Quonset Hut, which is a workshop. I'd love to have a workshop that size. And then of course, really nice barn. So you can see the barn is actually 2 wings. The wing on the back is the newer wing, but a really nice barn. And there's even a pig facility on the backside, smaller concrete floor facility. Just a lot of neat things on a farm that you would expect there to be in this area is already in place and obviously still workable.
Right.
So yeah, what do you got going on here?
Well, my biggest accomplishment here is to keep the lawns mowed. I do that more than I work in the shop, actually. I mow in the mower bags. That way I'm paid in green stuff for what I do. And it's all in preparation for whatever happens here. When a family gets here and they want to start raising their own food, you need compost, I think, to raise food, to upgrade your soil. This is the best amendment to soil. Just put compost on it and disregard all the number chemicals and that, and just go with compost. This is grass clippings and planer shavings.
Yeah, so you're kind of doing a lasagna method here, where you're mixing your greens and your browns in different layers in your cattle panel here, so you're getting the best maximum breakdown that you can get there.
And if you put your hand in,
it's a little steamy.
it'll burn you.
Yeah, that's definitely throwing out some heat there. This is the Quonset Hut, which you heard JB say that when he does driving or whatever he does for the Amish at times, sometimes these are national trips where you're driving across the state. Other times they're just asking you to go into town and get stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, so there's times that he gets paid in wood, which I think is an incredible currency. So let's go into the shop here and let's look at all this wood that you've got piled up. So you've ricked up a lot of this stuff because it comes off the mill green, and you're bringing it into air dry in the Quonset Hut here.
Well, it all comes at 3.5 inches, everything that comes from the pallet shop. That pile there is from the sawmill. That's hardwood. That's all dried down to 9% now. And but everything else comes in at 3.5, because that's what a pallet comes in at. So I've got a lot of 3.5, and when I look at what I've got, I got to figure out what can I make with what I've got. I don't look at what I want to make and then what do I need to make it. I look at the opposite way around. I look at what do I have here and what can I make out of it. I've been making some bushel boxes. This one's slightly more than a bushel. That's a peck. I made 22 boxes one day just to see if I could, and I did. Just looking at what I got and figuring out what I can make.
Yeah, that's great. So that's this stack of wood ricked up here, as you can see, is it's a little under 5 feet high, or right at 5 feet high. So that's a lot of wood just right there, and then you've got stacks all over the place going on. So very neat, very neat.
And this is the all dried plain four sides. It goes on here. This is pretty much full. I'm at a stage now where I need to find things I can make out of it to get it out of the shop.
Right. It's time. Time to turn it into workable projects. Oh, wow.
Is it too dark?
No, it's actually, this camera does quite well with that. Wow.
This section we're in here is from the 1890s, I figure.
Yes, look at
It's
this.
got
Look at
timbers running the whole width of it.
Yeah, I'm looking right here, JB. This hand-hewn log, dowel rod, handmade dowels, timber. So this is a timber frame barn that's hand-hewed. I think the camera's picked. Yeah, you can see the hewn marks in this.
Yeah.
And still has the dowel pins in it. That is just gorgeous. Goodness.
You see these beams?
Look at the size of that beam. Good Lord.
That's before hydraulics were invented.
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
Look at the dovetail at the top there.
oh yeah.
Wow. That is fantastic.
This part really intrigues me, but then you get into this part made in the World War II era, and this is all milled timber, and they've lost all their skill as far as architecture
Yeah.
and just gone to pretty much scab and nail.
Yeah, yeah, sure enough. Yeah, you can see there just the nail fasteners and basic joinery, nothing nearly as ornate as that. Still a good looking barn though. So when JB came to this place, the house was in disrepair. You said it was the abandoned house, and I think maybe
This was known as the abandoned farm.
Yeah. So what he's done in the time that he's been, how long have you been here now?
Since November.
Since November. So since he's been here and got this lease going, the owner's, he's working on the house with the agreement of the owner, put new windows in, got the hot water going, all that type of stuff. And since you're on the road a lot, you kind of just hang out in one of the back bedrooms. That's your domicile, but the rest of the house you're going to make available for this family that's coming, right?
There's small bedrooms by American standards. By the Amish standards, they're average. But I have the one bedroom here in the front, which admittedly might be the best because I can see the buggies go by in that from my bedroom. But then there's 2 other bedrooms downstairs and 5 bedrooms upstairs. Maybe only 1 bedroom downstairs if you make a pantry. Our idea is to make a pantry out of one of those. The family that's coming has been doing a lot of, what is that called? Preparation for the end days.
Prepping? They're preppers?
Preppers,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
And so they're going to come with a lot of food. And
Cool.
But we've got a full basement on the old part of the barn, old part of the house. That's tall enough for Troy to stand in. And I know how to make shelves. And and that stays at, what is it, 58 degrees? Pretty much a wood cellar.
Yeah, that with all that stone, it should be in the 50s, yeah.
And so that stays at a constant temperature, not freezing. And the addition is just the kitchen, and for lack of a better word, we call it the great room. Our living room is actually where this chimney, you can't see it now, but this has a central chimney in this part of the house. And our living room is where the chimney is. That's where the stove is.
Yeah.
When I'm going through the wood, if it's not suitable for anything else, due to thickness or width or knots, I make it into kindling. This is all kindling. And then this is all the overnight stuff. And that door there leads right into the stove. So I started putting it down there. And then I've got another pile about this size out behind the barn.
Well, JB, I really appreciate you taking the time to walk with me, let me come up. In case you guys are wondering what brought me to Ohio is we got to talking, and he's 45 minutes from where we're staying over in Columbus right now. And so I thought, well, I'm going to, instead of Kelly and the boys are shopping, I'm going to go to the farm. So I invited myself out, and he was gracious to let me come. So I got to say, when I post that podcast, I want you guys to listen to it because I love the backstory. He's got a really compelling story, talking about all the things he's done and experienced in New Hampshire and Maryland and Ohio and all those things. But I love his personality. What's the first thing you said to me when I got out of the truck, JB? Do you remember? You said, you're not nearly as fat as you look on camera. So I love it. Anybody that opens a conversation like that, you get a thumbs up in my book. So that was awesome. So, man, I really appreciate you letting me come out and check out the place. So it's good finally meeting you face to face.
God bless.
All right. All right, everybody. I'll post some details below. We'll link to his channel as well so you can see what he's got going on here. And of course, he's going to be documenting, I assume with this new family, they'll probably be jumping on the YouTube train with him. So I'll post a link to his videos so you can check his channel out, give him a thumbs up, give him a subscribe there as well. All right, take care, everybody.